It's KJ! It's KJ! It's KJ! It's KJ! It's KJ!
Hello, one and all. It's your man, KJ Johnson. Oh, yes. I'm back. I'm back, and I'm here to talk about my love. My love of professional wrestling. Oh, yeah. Because this is KJ's Corner. This is KJ's Superstation Sensation. This is KJ's Pontification Power Hour. And what am I here to talk about? Well, I'm here to discuss the WWE today. I'm going to stay specifically to the WWE. Because I have been tasked, I have been given open forum to discuss whatever it is that I like, or don't like, about the world of professional wrestling. And why? Because I am the man for the job. Since I was birthed, since I came out of the canal, I have been digesting. I have been getting it into my bones and through my testicles, the love of pro wrestling. Since I was a babe. And now I'm here, 30 years old, having the time of my life, doing things and chasing my dreams that I've always wanted to chase. Being an entertainer, being an actor, being a filmmaker, being a podcaster. I am doing all of my things, and in that time period, I have fallen out of love with pro wrestling. Or, at least, I have fallen out of love with what pro wrestling is today. And I will explain why, and I will focus specifically on the WWE today. There's a lot that I can say about AEW, ROH, New Japan Pro Wrestling, indie shows that I have had the pleasure of being there, or sometimes the displeasure of sitting there. But either way, I'll stick to the WWE today because I believe that it is not something for me. It is not a product for me anymore. But I am going to be so bold as to say, I don't think it's a place for wrestling fans anymore. I don't think it's booked for us that love pro wrestling, that love sports entertainment. And I will tell you why. But first, I think I should discuss when did I fall out of love with pro wrestling. I suppose when I think back on it, it must have been the year 2020. Pandemic wrestling. And, you know, I've heard a lot of that. I've heard a lot of people fall out of love with pro wrestling during the pandemic times because fans are the lifeblood of the wrestling experience. Whether it's indie shows with 20, 30, 40 people, or it's a stadium with 40,000. You go across the world to Europe and you will have the buildings shake in Paris, France, because wrestling fans are the most loyal, rabid fan base, I argue, in the world of sports. They're very close to number one. And WWE always talked about us being the be-all and end-all. We decide who is cheered, who's booed, who gets to the top, and who doesn't, and all that such and such. And maybe for a time that could have been the thing. But I believe that wrestling, WWE right now, is booked to make the sponsors happy. Booked to make Netflix and ESPN secure their multi-billion-dollar deals. Saudi Arabia, which I won't get into. But be that as it may, in 2020, I fell out of love, and I was wondering why. I thought maybe it's because there aren't as many characters anymore. It's not larger-than-life characters. You know, we don't have a Goldust or a Chris Jericho that was the Millennium Man, or we don't have a Stone Cold Steve Austin that was just this crazy, unbelievable, screw your boss type blue collar man. somebody you can relate to, but somebody who did things that you can never possibly do, like fill a Corvette with cement. I'm going off because I don't have a script. It's a shoot. I'm shooting here. I don't have anything. So I wondered if it was perhaps the character work. Not as much characters anymore. Not as much larger than life. And then I would watch the pay-per-view event or a premium live event, and I would just be sitting there watching match after match after match, and I didn't feel like where are my promos? Where are my video packages? Where are the show-long narratives? Things that I look at like fully loaded, 1999. Steve Austin versus The Undertaker, first blood for the WWF title. Steve Austin won, he got the title back, and Vince McMahon would be ousted from power. He would never be in the WWF again. But The Undertaker won. Steve Austin could never again challenge for the WWF title. And from the Sunday Night Heat, prior to that show, all the way through to the main event, the show-long narrative was either man busting each other open before they got there. The stakes were high, the tensions were high. It made you think that because they both bled before, that they could bleed at any minute. So you had to strategize and give it your all, and hell for leather and all of that. It was exciting. Because you were rewarded by purchasing a pay-per-view, or even if you were considering purchasing the pay-per-view but didn't think you might do it, and then you saw that storyline take you into the pay-per-view and you said, yes, I'm gonna watch it. You don't get that anymore. You don't get the show-long narratives, but I will give Triple H credit. When Triple H first took over from Vince McMahon, it felt good. The product was great. I liked a lot of what I saw. The Uncle Howdy stuff, the Wyatt Six, was executed quite well upon his return. There were many things with the women's division that I liked. A lot of storylines were getting their success, and they were getting payoffs. The Bloodline saga with a cathartic ending. These things were beautiful, but then something happened. TKO. TKO and their merger and sponsors and adverts flag the show today. And we can look at not too long ago, this past month, the World Heavyweight Championship picture. CM Punk, one of my favorites, holding the World Heavyweight Championship, and I will always defend CM Punk. I'm a CM Punk guy through and through, but you had the opportunity, and it's quite puzzling really, that Braun Breaker is not holding the World Heavyweight Championship right now. And yes, you can give them the benefit of the doubt, and you can say, well, maybe it'll pay off at WrestleMania. And it very well may. Point is that you had the chance to pivot off of a Seth Rollins injury and rocket somebody to superstardom, and you didn't do that. You had the chance, and now the heat is off. Royal. And they will recover it. The WWE always manages to recover. Now, I'm not saying that it's all doom and gloom. I don't believe that. I will never believe that. Because I have a passion that I want pro wrestling to be exciting. I want to get the feelings back from when I was a child. But it's that lack of daring chances being taken on somebody young, somebody fresh like a Braun Breaker. When you look at the main event scene now and everybody is over the age of 40 years old, it was the complaints that many people had during the WCW's reign with Hogan, Savage, Hall, Nash, Piper, Sting, DDP, all of these men that were considered the old-timers, still hanging on, still having the stranglehold on the main event scene. I mean, yes, the athletes today are 10 times more athletic than those of yesteryear, but they are nevertheless the same age period. And a young guy like Braun Breaker could have been the exciting shot in the arm that gave things a little bit more electricity. As we come out of Survivor Series, a lot of the review is simply that it was fine. And unfortunately, that's what I've heard quite a lot from pay-per-views, from live events, whatever you want to call them. A lot of it, the review is simply fine. WWE is all about entrances now. It's not about wrestling. Well, that seems pretty obvious because War Games was a lot about entrances in 5 minutes of the match beyond. at least from the men's. Pretty crazy. And the thing is that the lack of danger, the lack of excitement, the lack of intrigue, and the total lack of anything can happen in the WWE. Well, it's definitely might be true, but it's only true from about January till April. From August to September, not much happens at all. But that is my opinion, and that is the one that I wish to share with all of you. In a perfect world, I would love for my wrestling to be as wacky and as zany as it used to be, but now to mix with Triple H's long-term booking and direction and leadership that I believe he truly has the qualities to succeed with. But instead, we appeal to the sponsors. We appeal to the networks that can go, yay! I know that guy. That guy makes money. The Roman Reigns', Brock Lesnar's, the Cody Rhodeses, and the CM Punks of the world. All of whom are great stars. I love them. But a little bit of youth and a little bit of danger could go a long way. But I'll talk to you next time. And you, all of my gentle listeners, you go ahead and stay sexy. This is KJ Johnson, signing off.